Hello and welcome to another episode of GameHammer Extras. Today I'm doing a video response to Metal Jesus Rocks. Yesterday he put up a new video, link in the description bar below, about really good games that have really bad covers. And he said, have you spotted any more? Well, to be honest with you, I have. So let's have a look at the British contingent of bad covers on good games. Okay, the first of our hidden gems has to be Traffic on the original Amstrad CPC. Now, this is my original copy, and as you can see, I've written on it, and plus NRS. When I was a very, very young kid, was playing a game with some of my friends, and we were pretending that we ran our own computer game shop, and that we'd made these games. I was about 5, 6-year-old, so that's why it's got stuff written on it. It's one of those things. You can't go back and change it, and to be honest with you, if I'm absolutely honest, I never would, because it's my original copy from almost 40 years ago now. My goodness, it's getting on. And I wouldn't change that for the world. But when you look at the cover, it looks terrible. It's got a car crashed into a traffic light, a really badly drawn policeman looking dead, basically like he's a zombie. And the game itself is actually a very good puzzle game about traffic management. It doesn't sound like it's the kind of game that you would think was great, but it really was an awful lot of fun. Let's move on to something more modern. Genma Onimusha. Does this look like an action game? It just looks odd. It looks historical, I'll give you that. The guy clearly dressed as a samurai. But the only part of this cover that makes you think this might be a good game is the Capcom logo in the bottom right. The rest of it just looks, well, what does it look like? It's boring. It's really boring, but the game itself is fantastic. Similarly, what were they thinking with Zoo Cube? Now this, what do you think it is? Some sort of really bad kids game. Probably something involving maybe putting together a jigsaw puzzle and watching a small, badly done animation. A bit like some of the other games that were out on the PlayStation, like Legend of Hercules or Son of the Lion King or something like that. Some really bad, cheap budget title. But this is a really fantastic 3D puzzle game. It's like a match 3 columns type of game, but on a rotating cube. And it's really good. I love it. I've done a review, link in the description bar below, and it's really, really good. Well worth playing, but the cover just makes it look like a terrible kid's cartoon. Now, here's a one that I think a lot of people would agree with me with. It's a fantastic game. Civilization is one of the greatest games ever made, but the cover is just a skyline with a tomb underneath it. It's boring. It doesn't tell you anything about the game. In fact, you could be forgiven for thinking it was some kind of archaeological thing, but it's not. It's one of the greatest strategy games ever made. And this budget re-release is worse. If you can imagine making a really dull cover even worse, let's just put the original cover inside the word Civ and then put it on a white background, just to really enhance the dullness. Well, this one, however, does not have dullness anywhere in it. Super Buster Move. Let's just write Super Buster Move on a baby's head. But let's do it really badly, so at one side of the baby's head, it looks like we've written it on, and on the other, it's clear that we haven't. It's just superimposed text. It's the weirdest cover around, and one thing that you have to remember, with the PlayStation, its lineup, all of its spines are white. Except for 2 games, and Super Buster Move is one of them. It's got an orange spine, and it's really annoying because it sticks out like a sore thumb on the shelves. It's really annoying, but the game itself is fantastic because, as most of you already know, it's basically Puzzle Bobble enhanced for the PlayStation, and it's fantastic. If you haven't played Super Buster Move, I recommend you do, but the cover would not make anyone want to pick this up. Similarly to that, and it seems that puzzle games really do get affected by this quite badly. What on earth were they thinking with Chuchu Rocket? Now this is a fantastic puzzle game. It's one of the best games on the Dreamcast in my opinion, but the cover makes it look silly. The cover makes it look like it's a cheap tie-in game that you just stuff in the box with the Dreamcast and then forget about. But it's a brilliant game, and it's one of those original ones from Dreamcast where you can play online. It's a fantastic game. It should have been marketed better, and it should have had a better cover to better represent what the damn thing is. Now here's one that breaks the mold. This, I think, is a nice cover, but what is it? What is retro? Is that guy a robot? Is he a pedal bin with arms and legs? Is he an eraser that someone's cut in half? Who knows? He's actually not in most of the games. He's one of the themed things that turns up on the menu, and sometimes you can kind of see him. He's one of the things you have to rescue in one game. But the game itself is a collection of 8 arcade games that have been rebuilt for the PlayStation and themed around this little robot guy in some way. He's not really in it much, but you get the idea. And as a result, it's a fantastic set of classic arcade games. But the cover doesn't tell you anything about it. It's just a robot on some weird patterned brown background. It's ridiculous. Find the game though. If you find it, play it. It is fantastic. Another one that could have been a hidden gem, but I think people are starting to realise how good it is these days, is Planescape Torment. But would you buy it based on that cover? Especially on the white label re-release, which has the cover in a small box on a white background with a blue stripe? I almost didn't. I got this in a set of 3 for £10. That's how much that I missed out on this game because the cover didn't make it stand out, basically. It's a really good game. It's one of the best RPGs ever created on any system. It is that good. But the cover and everything else about the game at the time made the majority of people just pass it by. And it's a damn shame. Now here's one that I just don't get it. Nightlong, Union City Conspiracy. Does it even look like it's going to be worth picking up? I would say no, because I almost didn't. I actually got this as a buy one, get one free offer that I didn't know was going on. So when I bought a game, I think it was Baldur's Gate when I bought it, I was told, oh, you get a game free since you're buying this one. So I just grabbed a game. And I'm glad I got this one, because if you've ever played the original Blade Runner game back on all of those CDs, then you get an idea of what Nightlong is trying for. This is a superb point-and-click adventure game with a great cyberpunk feel and a good plot. But you wouldn't know it to look at the front, where it just looks like really badly rendered CGI crap, and it tells you nothing about what this game is. Sticking with the theme of not telling you what things are, and that seems to be the big problem with a lot of these, we have Shattered Union on the original Xbox. When you look at this cover with the fallen Statue of Liberty, what does it tell you? Does it tell you what the game's about? Because I would say it does not. It's actually an RTS. It's one of those fantastic console-based real-time strategy games that really works on a console. I really love this game. It's a lot of great fun. And you wouldn't tell that from the cover. The only reason I ever picked this up is because I happen to be collecting all of the Xbox exclusives for the original Xbox, and this is one of them. So it's a good, fun game. I recommend you give it a try if you're into your Xbox games or you're into RTSs, because despite the cover being dull as dishwater, it's actually a lot of fun. And last but not least, we have Elite Plus. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, Elite's not a hidden gem, and it's not. But Elite Plus is one of those overlooked ones. Everyone thinks, well, it's just Elite for the PC with a few graphical enhancements, and yeah, it kind of is, but there's a bit more to it. The missions work a lot better, the graphics are enhanced, the gameplay is an awful lot easier than it was on the BBC and all of the 8-bits. It looks better, it plays better, it's a fantastic game, and it's overlooked because look at that package. What does it tell you? What is it? And why is there an eagle on the front? Why? I know that a lot of the ships are named after birds and other animals, but it makes no sense to have an eagle's head superimposed over the top of the Elite badge. It's a ridiculous cover, and as a result, I don't remember it selling an awful lot. Now, I hope you like that. Most of these are, of course, hidden gems, but I've got 1 or 2 honourable mentions, so let's have a look at those as well. Okay, the first of our honourable mentions has to go to Dizzy, the original graphic adventure for the small egg adventurer from the Codemaster stable. The cover tells you nothing about what the game is. It looks like, what, a platformer maybe? Or some sort of puzzle game? Who knows? But it doesn't work. Thankfully, the Dizzy collection, which it first came out on as a 5-pack, it's also been on the Cartoon Classics, or whatever that was called, Cartoon Collection perhaps? I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was on that one as well, and the cover designs for those are far, far better. Our other honourable mention has to be Rule of Rose. When you see this cover, what does it look like? It's an oddity, it's just a rose with a few thorns and a butterfly, and it looks like someone's drawn it in a colouring book. It's not a great cover. But the game is actually a rather good survival horror, psychological horror kind of game. So the game absolutely surpasses its cover. But the problem, of course, is it's not one of those hidden gems. everyone knows about Rule of Rose, and most people don't actually think it's that good. But I think, to be honest with you, part of that is people who've never played it and possibly think that they never will, telling themselves, well, you're not missing out. So there you are. It doesn't always happen to be the case that a really good hidden gem is the one that has a bad cover, because some of these good games have pretty dire covers, to be honest with you. But there was another thing. I've got here the cover for the European version of Time Splitters. Now, the Metal Jesus video suggests that the American version Time Splitters has a terrible cover, and yeah, it's not great. I wouldn't say our version was an awful lot better, but it is moderately more enticing. It kind of gives you a better idea of what the game's about. Well, not really, but actually I think we get the American cover on the back of ours. So there you are. We get it like a 2-for-1. But that's really all I've got time for today, so thank you very much for watching. If you've got any more examples of hidden gems or really good games that didn't sell so well because the covers are terrible, then please do leave a video response or just talk about it in the comments. Like I say, that's all I've got time for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you did like this, and if you did, remember to click that like button, share this with your friends so that they'll know a good game when they see it, and do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I've been Kirk-Robinson. You've been watching GameHammer Extra on the Knobmouse channel, and I'll see you later. Today's video is brought to you by my graphic novels, The Collected Life of Knobty Mouse, Volume 1, All Over the House, Volume 1, and All Over the House, Volume 2. Thank you.